What up, guys? Good morning. What up? As I, as you seen, I'm trying to get a channel started up on YouTube. Just get some of my thoughts and rants out there. I'm trying to, get things set up, get a podcast. I talk about sports, mainly basketball, but all types of sports. So the NBA season is off. Everybody's pretty much played 15 to 18 games. So you could say we're about 20% through the season so far, right? Real quick. We're already coming up on Thanksgiving holiday next week, and the weekend got its slate of games. The in-season tournament, which is becoming a little. It's still kind of weird the way they do it, because they don't just shut the league down and have the games. They scatter the games in between the schedules, and while it's a good idea, to kind of make these Tuesday and Friday night games have a little more meaning to them. It's still because what will happen is, the Lakers will play Phoenix come on Tuesday, right? And Phoenix will have basically 5 days off, because the last time they played was the Knicks on Wednesday, and they'll have 5 days off in between games, and KD is expected to be healthy for that game, right? But it's just sort of weird that they would get the 5 days off and then play the Lakers. But usually, the Lakers have caught two teams. One of them had an injury, so it's just weird, because you'll play a game against the same team. One of them counts for the in-season tournament, the next one doesn't. So I really think if they were going to do it, they should do it where they set the tournament up, give 2 weeks for the tournament. Give 2 weeks for the tournament, and then the next week for the playoffs of that tournament. Fill in the game. That's the way I think they should do it. It should be just this part of the season. These games count. They're the in-season tournament, but we're not mixing them with other regular season games. But it does give, I guess when you look at the games and you look at the court and all that, it gives it a little bit more marketing, a little bit more mustard on the whether these games matter. They all matter, and so that's the thing. That's one of the things I want to get into about how the modern day player treats the game, treats the regular season. Treats the playing is optional. And legit injuries happen, and I think one of my thing is, teams and these trainers, they guard against injuries so much that these players wind up just getting injured. It doesn't help. I think it's a big myth that the load management and rest games are gonna stop teams from getting injured. So one of the things that I see so far this year, again, scoring is up. Still too many threes. This is what takes the aesthetics out of really wanting to watch these games. I watch these games, and it's just, God, you don't see anything new. Just step back three, spread the court, three, drive to the hole, three. And I get it's a more efficient way to play. That's what the analytics and stat nerds have pretty much determined. But stylistically, it's just every team copying off each other, and these games come down to a 3-point contest. I get, look, taking a 3-point shot, makes sense. But when that's all you can do, when you have no mid-range, when teams are chasing you off the three, and you don't have an offense in between, in those 24 seconds, it's just not. It's just like this, again, post up, kick and roll, give and go, cuts. All of that should be incorporated in the game, because it's all needed. When the 3-point shot is not going, you should have other avenues. Look, the teams that have been elite and won championships have been able to score at all three levels. So, the idea that, teams got to shoot 63s in a game, being 2/3 or half their shots is threes, it's just, how about making 1/3? How about use the three as a weapon that is needed to be, instead of shooting threes just to shoot threes. but that's another story. Again, the injuries and all of this. There's one thing that I really got me on here to make a video, and that's the whole LeBron James. Oh well, that's the I'm a juxtapose the LeBron James situation because the NBA has done an investigation on my New York Knicks based on Jalen Brunson being promoted to top assistant. Now, Jalen Brunson's father, Rick Brunson, being promoted to top assistant. And they look at it as a salary cap violation since Jalen Brunson and Rick Brunson are family, and they're trying to make sure it's not an unmeritorious promotion, which is absolutely. Rick Brunson has been a coaching lifer since he retired after his 10-year career. So when he retired after his 10-year career, Jalen Brunson was still freaking in what was he in middle school? Jalen Brunson's now a 27, 28-year-old man. Okay, so they're trying to allege that the Knicks kind of violated the salary cap by giving the Brunson family, more money. What is? I couldn't even tell you what he's getting paid, but they're looking at it as, well, you're giving him more money. You're giving the Brunson family more money because Jalen, because Jalen took the pay cut. Again, mind you, the pay cut doesn't start. The salary extension does not start until next year. So the idea that he took a pay cut, no, he gets paid the same amount that he was going to get paid this year. He basically obviously opted out of the last year, his player option for the last year of the original contract, and then the new salary starts where he will get a pay raise. This year is the same thing. So the Knicks, being a team that already kind of got the league by giving the guys that they traded to make the Karl-Anthony Towns trade go through $1 over the league minimum, technically punched the loophole in that new you can't stack league minimum guys that make a trade go through rule, which again, is good for the players that got traded, Jaquan Jeffries and all those guys, because they get a guaranteed salary instead of being on limbo. Let's let the player, the NBA PA, basically say, oh, you can't give guys who are two-way guys and stuff like that, you can't give them a guaranteed contract that you can actually pay to facilitate a trade going through. It's absolutely ridiculous, right? So the Knicks did pick up salary on the Karl-Anthony Towns because he was due to make roughly $20 million more than Julius Randle this year. So you had to, it's a certain amount of percentage that the total salary can come back. So we took one extra player, one minimum player, and then we put 4 or 5 guys. Well, no, we actually took Najani, who's a stash and draft player, and put, so they look, the monotony of the NBA salary cap, again, the same salary cap rules that didn't allow us to re-sign Isaiah Hartenstein, a player we developed into an elite type of role-playing center, where he's gonna put out benefits to the OKC Thunder, a championship contender. We couldn't pay him. We had only early bird rights. The Larry Bird rule is meant to let a team go over the salary cap. So now all of these new second apron, first apron. Look, the Knicks have been under the first apron the Knicks have been under the salary cap for the last 6-7 years, when they're one of these teams that can actually pay their bills. So this is one thing that I harp on, right? The Knicks can go up to $400 million in salary. Them, Golden State, the Lakers, not the Lakers, the current iteration, but because Jeannie Buss is the Buss family, they're a family business. They don't have corporate money where they can kind of mitigate going up, paying so much in salary tax. But the Knicks can actually pay. The Knicks can actually, if you didn't have a salary cap, the Knicks could actually go up to $400 million, $500 million if they had to. But we play within the system, and so we get to the second apron because we don't have a $60 million guy. Right? We paid OG $40 million, and now we have Cat at $50 million. He's the first $50 million player in Knicks history. Other teams have had $60, $70 million players. They have multiple. I mean, look at the Phoenix Suns. You got basically 3 guys making 40 to 50. All right? So, with that being said, the minimal pay raise that Rick Brunson, which I mean, look, it's probably hundreds of thousands of dollars, but still, it could be $1 million for her. And I don't know what the assistant coaches get paid. I would have to look that up if that information is even available. But they looked at it as a salary cap violation because you're giving the Brunson family. See, this is what I want. This is why I want to bring the whole Bronny James nepotism situation into the fold, because Bronny James, which we all know, is a controversial pick, right? Everybody knows that that nobody wanted to draft Bronny. Maybe Phoenix looked at it as an, but for a 6'1.5" guy who really cannot play the point guard, nobody was going to invest a draft pick and a guaranteed roster spot in a player of that caliber who averaged, what do you have, 5-6 points a game at USC, a 15 and 18 team, not even a team that qualified for any postseason in college, and he was what, the 6-7 player on that team, best player. Isaiah Collier was the best player. He got drafted in the first round, right? But nobody, even in a weak draft, nobody was drafting Bronny. So there was no point of drafting him, but we had to get, so not only that, we had to give him a $1.7 million a year guaranteed contract for 4 years. A guaranteed roster spot and a guaranteed, and LeBron, who took a little bit under the salary, who took a little bit of pay cut this year, right? He took a little bit under his max. You're not gonna tell me that's a fight. You're not gonna investigate that. I'm just saying, because one of the things that I see is that when it comes to these rules enforcements, it seems like only the Knicks have to follow it. Only the Knicks have to follow the rules. Where a guy, the league, which I completely believe are in LeBron James' pocket, they do everything they can to make him successful. You gotta understand this. If Rick Brunson, if we're giving Rick Brunson a contract extension, a promotion, which starts before the contract extension, is a violation. Rick Brunson, Jalen Brunson is 28 years old. I highly doubt he's lived in Rick Brunson's household since he left Villanova. I highly doubt it. I'm pretty sure he's had his own place since being in the NBA legitimately for the last 7 years. He got drafted in 2018, so we're going into 2025. 7 years this man been on his own. Bronny James, probably has like his own guest house on the LeBron James mansion, on the LeBron James estate. I'm pretty sure he's got his own apartment or whatever. He's got his own setup with his 1.7. But then you're talking about a guy that pretty much lived with the LeBron James household last year. So you're not going to tell me that little sweetheart deal wasn't a salary cap violation? This is the bullshit that I can't, the league makes itself, it just makes itself a joke. It makes itself a joke. Because I'm thinking of the flopping rules, right? What happened to giving these players technicals for flopping? You rarely see that. And yet you see the flopping. This is another thing that makes the league just impossible to watch. It's impossible to watch. I'd rather watch a college game for basketball and I watch an NBA game for entertainment. That's all it is. And Adam Silver has to really figure this out, because the All-Star game has become an embarrassment. I watched the WNBA All-Star game right before the Olympics, right? The Olympic team versus the WNBA Select. That was one of the best basketball games I've seen. The competitiveness that these ladies give, to the pride of actually representing yourself as one of the elites of your game and playing a competitive game to celebrate the game. And the freaking NBA All-Star game is a goddamn Embarrassment. No, just a layup line. They think people actually want to watch a layup line. That's all it is. An up and down scrimmage layup line. I get you're not going to play as hard as possible, but I mean, my God. It's ridiculous. The flopping for calls, again, I'm looking at it, this whole thing started, I was thinking about how the Knicks should be on a 6-game winning streak, but, you had Kobe White, who clearly flopped when Josh Hart hit him on grazed his afro. And then he did this unnatural kickback to draw lower body contact on his three-point shot. I want to see Kobe White take that shot where he's doing an ice skating maneuver. I mean, it's an absolute joke, man. It's an absolute joke. I'm one of these theorists, conspiracy theorists, that think that the league itself, uses the Knicks as guinea pig to enforce his rules, and they don't enforce them nowhere else. So it's one of the things, right, with the Knicks being an elite team this year, and trust me, guarantee you, we're going to get into more than that as I do more rants. The Knicks are an elite team. I mean, the numbers show it. They have the best starting five. They have guys. They have guys that's coming back. Mitchell Robinson and Precious Achiuwa should be back any day now. That all their role players. But yes, that's one thing that they do is defend. One thing they do is use their length to bother the shots, and that's what the Knicks kind of are missing in the rotation right now. But yeah, it's an absolute joke. It's an absolute joke because to sit there and have to read that the league is investigating whether an assistant coach deserved his promotion. Again, remember when we hired him in the first place, before we signed Jalen Brunson, they was looking at that as fishy. The Knicks, look at what Jalen Brunson has become. Mark Cuban didn't want to give him $65 million, and now he's at the point where he can get $300 million. That's better for the player. It was obvious. It was a no-brainer for Jalen Brunson to come to the Knicks so he can run his own team, so he can run the point guard. He was meant really to come in and be Julius Randle's number 2. He wound up being better than Julius Randle, right? And then we wound up trading for Karl-Anthony Towns. Who cares who's the number 1, who's the number 2? You're talking about one of the best duos in the league right this year. So obviously Jalen Brunson won. Obviously won. And if you want to talk about the contract extension, remember, it does not start until next year. He was going to make the same $26 million this year anyway. So us giving Rick Brunson a promotion, a deserving one, because he has been a coaching lifer. He really should be one of the guys up for the next head coaching job in this league. It's an absolute joke. It's an absolute joke when we all know that Bronny James, who can't even average 6 points in the damn G League, and no disrespect, the G League players, but I mean, come on. From what I'm told, these are just glorified scrimmages. They don't even really play defense, what I'm told. Come on. So, like I said, I can rant all day, but this is one of kind of something I wanted to get off my mind. I kind of been watching it, not really even, every time I see news around my Knicks and the league investigating, and one thing people got to realize is like the league office is right there on Park Avenue and Park Avenue and Madison, or something like that, between Park and Madison, right around the Grand Central area. If you've ever been in New York, it's right about 50th Street or something. And Madison Square Garden is pretty much less than about a mile and a half away on the west side, 34th Street. So the Knicks offices and the league offices are pretty much in the same region. So it's like, it's almost like they can send a messenger over to get, they can take a little Uber over to communicate with each other, where other leagues offices are, around the country. So they're always got their eye on their neighbors, which is, again, it's ridiculous, but they enforce rules unfairly, unequally, and it just makes for a fix. It just gives the indication that the league has it out for the Knicks for whatever reason, because like I said, it's ridiculous. Bronny James lived in the James household last year. And for him to get $1.7 million when LeBron James takes a pay cut for around $1.7 million, what are we talking here? Basically, LeBron James take a pay cut so his son can get paid. Come on. And we all know LeBron James is the more valuable of the two. no disrespect. LeBron James has no value in the league. So this is just some rant for me this morning. You know, I'm gonna get better at this. You know, I'm gonna get better at this, kind of just shooting off the dome. But you guys have a good one.